What's going on, everybody? John here. Got some videos on investing on credit, on generating income online, and you're also going to see some videos on active living, adventure travel, and also starting to do a lot more content on short and medium-term vacation rentals because I've got two here in Southern California that I own, and then one that I also do, and we are right in the thick of busy season. Actually, got a few out in my lake villa that I did recently. But what are we doing today? Today we have a video on investing. I'm going to talk about two investing stocks. Very interesting acquisition that Match Group just announced. I actually cover two dating stocks. It's funny. I was reading an article that this article listed Home Depot as a dating stock, which I don't understand why they did that, but for some reason they said it was a dating play. But the two dating stocks that I cover are Match Group and Bumble. They're obviously very specific in dating. They've got dating apps, right? And I actually have experience with both. Back in my single days, I used the apps and the dating sites and all that, and have a lot of contextual experience, with those sites. And Match owns a whole lot of different dating sites. So they certainly have, a noticeable grip on the industry, that's for sure. But Bumble is also very compelling in the space. So I'm going to highlight both of them and also highlight a news clip where Match just announced that they made a new acquisition. So I want to kind of take you into that, and we'll take a look at the new acquisition that that Match made. So let's first. I went ahead and I went into my spreadsheet where I follow stocks. And by the way, if you're interested, I don't have any links yet, but I just came out with kind of a hot list. I got 46 stocks in there, basically the 46 hot, I call them turbo growth stocks. And then I'm going to come up with a hot list of these 46 stocks, which I haven't fully decided yet. It's going to be like 7 to 10 of my highest conviction names of these turbo growth stocks. Anyway, so I've got, like I said, a list of 46, and I will make a URL available, like a link available where you can go and kind of, get that list. And I have a whole lot of different, information with that list that I'm going to have there. But basically, I'm going to go into like my little spreadsheet. I went to all the financials for both Match and Bumble. What's very interesting is with both Match and Bumble, I don't know why this is, but with Match, they have extremely high negative year-over-year revenue growth. I don't know how that is or why, what happened with that, or it's something complicated with doing acquisitions in terms of how Wall Street allows you to report those numbers. But they've got very strong, a very high negative year-over-year revenue growth rate. And then Bumble, for some reason, is actually not showing the full year revenue for 2020. Now, when they reported their most recent first quarter, here we are, it's June. It was like in April or something like that they reported their first quarter. They did report a very strong quarter, which kind of, from a pro forma perspective, if you were to model out the first quarter of 2021, it looked like they were going to hit about $1 billion in sales. But their most recently reported full year, they're well below $1 billion. They're below $500 million actually in sales. But nonetheless, it can be a good opportunity to grab a company when they are just below $1 billion in sales, and then you can ride them on the way up. But already Bumble's kind of creeping up in their market cap. They're already at about 9 billion, so getting pretty close to 10 billion. And 10 billion, as you may or may not know, 10 billion is that kind of level that where a stock is then categorized as a large cap stock. And then we got the mid cap at 2 billion to 10 billion, and then small cap below 2 billion and above 300 million. So let's take a look real quick. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my little spreadsheet here and show you. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my screen. I'm going to show you Match and Bumble. So we got Match here. So a pretty high market cap, right, for Match Group, at about 40 billion, right there at about 40 billion market cap. They've got the most recently reported trailing 12 months, not necessarily their fiscal year, but their most recently reported trailing 12 months at about 2.5 billion. Very attractive 73% gross margin. Gotta love that, right? And then take those gross profits of 1.8 into that market cap. Got that multiple of 21 right there. And then here you can see negative 47% year-over-year revenue growth rate. So it's just very strange that that's happening. I would say that's kind of, I just would say, hey, that's a little wonky. So, something happened with the way that they report or whatever, but they should be growing because they're growing as a site. Certainly their acquisitions, and then also the amount of users that they're collecting. They are certainly growing in terms of their user base as a site, as the quarters go on. And then you take a look at Bumble. I guess at the time that I did this sheet originally with Bumble, they had over 10 billion, but at the time of this recording today, June 17th, they got about a $9 billion market cap. And again, their most recently reported 12 months is 2019. So again, I don't know why. It might be something to do with the fact that they went public in December, so maybe they've got a full year to put their most recent year up or something like that. Maybe they get a grace period. I'm not sure. But they should be tracking at about $1 billion because their first quarter 2021, had some pretty high revenue for them that modeled them out at about around $1 billion in sales in revenue. So, just a tad under 500 million for their, most recently reported 12 months revenue. Very attractive 71.3% gross margin. Pretty attractive year-over-year revenue growth. I would think a small company like this that's doing, not even 500 million in revenue, I would think that they're growing more than 35%, or 35.83, so let's say 36%, but still that's what they're actually reporting. So we'll see when they come out with their fiscal year 2020 annual revenue, whenever that's going to be. We'll definitely take a look at it. But what I did is, and then, fairly richly valued, you figure you divide their gross profits of 349 million into their market cap, fairly richly valued. But what I did is I actually took a position in Bumble, and I did not take a position in Match Group just yet. And the real reason is actually when I did Bumble, it actually did not work for me very well, right? So Bumble did not work for me very well. But basically, just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean that they're not successful, because they are. I think it's very interesting to see different personality types. I mean, there's completely different personality types, obviously, for men, and completely different personality types for women on the dating sites. And everybody's personality type is different. It just so happened that Bumble just didn't work for me. I have read in terms of my research that Bumble tends to work for let's say more outgoing females, and then men that are a little bit more shy and reserved. And that's definitely not me. I like to talk, as you can see from all of these high number of videos that I have here. But let's take a look at what is basically the it is the clip here with the Match Group CEO talking about a recent acquisition that they just made here for the Match Group.
Joining us now for a Closing Bell exclusive is Match Group COO and CFO Gary Swidler. Gary, thanks for joining us. Analysts say this does remove a bit of an overhang on your stock, just getting it through on regulatory approval, and they're excited about the total addressable market. Explain what this deal does for you.
Yeah, we're really excited to have closed the deal today. It's a big day for the company, and we're excited about the future. There's lots of great stuff going on here. And, right now, before this acquisition, we addressed single people around the world, which is a big market for sure, and a market we've done really well in. But now adding social discovery, where you can be single or in a relationship, really increases the market that we can go after and just creates even more growth opportunities for the company around the world.
So how does that work? Because we typically think of Match as you're single and you want to meet somebody.
Yeah, and look, I think now that people have moved more and more online, more of their lives are online. Not only can we serve people who are looking for romantic relationships, but we can help connect people for other purposes as well, to meet friends, to meet people who have similar interests, and potentially to do other things as well down the road. So, the online communities are just burgeoning. They're growing significantly. And, we're the best in the world at connecting people who don't know each other for different purposes. And this creates massive opportunity for us.
Gary, does this acquisition add more tech differentiation for you or more geographic exposure? Because they're big in Asia, right?
Yeah, it actually adds both. It really adds a few things. It adds a big team that's highly capable on the engineering side for us in Seoul, South Korea, 400 plus strong team there. A lot of knowledge of the Asia market, a lot of knowledge of the Gen Z market. A lot of their customers are on the younger side. And we think they're really good in a number of technologies, in AR, in video specifically. And we can take a lot of what they do and bring that to some of our brands and really broaden the offering that we have on some of our brands to help people connect. So there's a lot we can do with what HyperConnect does. It's a highly capable company, a great company, and we're going to be able to plug in a lot of what they do across our portfolio of brands.
When it comes to the monetization strategy here, Gary, is it still a subscription model, which is how investors think of you, or is there something else that you could tap into here with this new deal?
Well, we are a subscription-based company primarily, but we have learned over the last few years to do more and more on an a la carte or consumables basis, similar to what some gaming companies do when they sell you an extra life or a skin or whatever it may be. And HyperConnect is actually a little bit the opposite of us. They're much less subscription and much more a la carte or consumables, and they're very good in understanding how consumables are to be sold and how customers enjoy buying consumables. And so it's going to be a mixture now, and I think going forward for us, it's going to be a mix of subscription and consumables. That's the way that we were heading anyway. And as we expand in Asia, where the market is a little bit less typically focused on subscription and more focused on consumables, this played right into the growth opportunity for us in Asia to tap into the consumables interest in that market.
And Gary, just to finish off, I'm wondering what the engagement's been like in the last month or two on apps like Tinder as reopening has occurred. Does it mean more dating or less dating virtually? Kind of an odd balance, I imagine.
Well, I'm sure if you've been walking around the streets of New York or other cities in the country in the last little while, you can see that things are coming back very strongly.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously things are coming back. So there you go. So that is the Match Group CEO talking about their recent acquisition of HyperConnect. Don't really even know who that is, but it sounds like what they're doing is really what I saw Bumble doing in terms of Bumble Friends and Bumble Biz, where they're people going on there because they want to meet friends. They want to maybe meet people that have similar interests as friends. Like for example, for me, I live here in Southern California, I'm in Los Angeles, and going surfing is it's just something that comes to mind where it's not really great to go by yourself, right? It's a little bit better, a little bit more responsible to go with someone and have somebody in the water in case you see something or whatever. So it is nice to kind of hop on there and actually find a community of people where you can actually meet people with similar interests to do stuff. Same thing with I also love to boat, water ski, and wakeboard. And fortunately, I do have friends that like to go with me, but you kind of need, obviously, you need someone to go. You need someone to pull the boat or to pull somebody. So it's something that you really can't do yourself. And then also, I have not, checked out Bumble Biz, but I have, heard about it, and people are making business connections actually, through Bumble Biz. So what's happening with Match Group is it looks like they're expanding beyond just single people wanting to meet and kind of going into, having people meet, trying to meet friends and maybe business partners, which sounds actually very exciting. So we'll see how that goes. But again, what I did is I took a position in Bumble. I did not take a position in Match Group. Match Group at already a $40 billion market capitalization is a little bit high, and their numbers are looking really wonky to me. It is very, appealing, certainly, that they have so many of the top tier groups in terms of the top tier dating apps or websites, under their umbrella. But at the same time, negative 50% year-over-year revenue growth is. I just would say it's just kind of wonky. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they're reporting like that, because that company is growing in terms of the actual users that they have and, all the acquisitions that they're making and such. And we're going to stay tuned for Bumble, see what happens with Bumble. I'm a lot more interested in riding Bumble up from, $1 billion in sales all the way up to, maybe they'll get bigger. Maybe they'll get to 5, 10 billion in sales. It's exactly what I did with Netflix, where, I came in at Netflix, they had a $3 billion market capitalization. And at that time they had $3 billion in sales, and they certainly have gone up. Now they're over 200 billion in market capitalization, and they're reporting they're forecasting that they're going to do about 25 billion in sales for 2021, and they did 20 billion in sales in 2020. And Netflix is actually my biggest return investment, about an 80x return. When you look at their 52-week high, I started purchasing Netflix back in 2011 and then really increased my exposure with them, taking about a 25% exposure to my all of my assets in 2012. So anyway, I'm looking to do that same thing where I can kind of ride out growth tech, invest in the younger companies when they're around $1 billion in sales, and then kind of ride them up as they get bigger. Is what I'm doing. So hey, everybody, hopefully you like that. If you want to see more dating site companies where I go in and kind of evaluate them and take a look at their numbers and their gross profits and all this stuff, let me know. Put it in the comments section. And if you like this, give me a like. Give me a subscribe. It's 100% free to hit that like button. It really helps. It's 100% free to actually subscribe, of course, and 100% free to put those comments in that box. I'll also put some links in here, everybody. I have a blueprint where I came up with that I came out with where I cover investing. I cover generating income online, and I also cover credit. I've got a big background in investing. First job out of college was Merrill Lynch, then I did investment banking, and then I also did work for Sun America here in Los Angeles for 3 years. But I'm not a financial advisor. This all is for education and for entertainment. And I'm also, investing. Personally, I'm actually just a good investor as well. So I give a lot of my ideas and strategies away to you guys. Outside of Netflix, I also bought Apple back in 2007 before the first iPhone came out, and then also Amazon when they were down $100 a share back in 2014. So I got almost a 10x return on that. So hey, everybody, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.